Hi everyone, it's Angela De Palma from Vision Accountable, and welcome to this masterclass Fast Track Your Vision Achievement Through Leveraged Personal Branding. And this is for visionary entrepreneurs, consultants, organizations, teams, solopreneurs, and business owners. So, before I kick off with the content for today, I just want to share a bit of a story. So, a lot of the time, people think that personal branding is about your profiles on social media, or your LinkedIn profile, for example. And actually, personal branding is not, it's an ecosystem and not a one-dimensional asset. And so your profiles and social media are very important, but they're not all of what makes up your personal brand. Now, in 2023, in the middle of the year, I logged in to my LinkedIn profile and I couldn't get in. They asked for my security details. I had to upload my passport and, personal information, identity documents, and I didn't get my LinkedIn profile back. So they took my profile down. I messaged them. They said that I'd breached their rules and that was it. They weren't going to give it back. So obviously that was very devastating because I'd been building the LinkedIn profile for a long, long time, for a decade, and I had over 6,000 connections and 23 recommendations, and it just all went up in a pile of smoke. So it was gone. So I've just got some real tips about LinkedIn, which I learned. So I've been giving my login details to a virtual assistant. Not that year or maybe even the year prior, but in the past I had. That was the only thing I could really think of that I breached. But since then, I've met lots of other people who've had their LinkedIn profiles hacked, and none of us had set up two-factor authentication. So there's a tip in and of itself. But essentially, my take now is that my account got hacked, and whatever the people that hacked my account did, it breached the guidelines to the point that LinkedIn said, no, we're never giving your profile back. So, my tips are don't breach platform guidelines. So, do not give your login details to your virtual assistant for your personal page on LinkedIn. Don't depend on social media platforms to run your business full stop. So a lot of those people on those 6,000 connections I had were not on my database. A lot of those I'd met at various times over the last 10 years. And so we want to always be building our own business on our own website and building a database that we own of email addresses. The lucky thing was that I had published many, many articles on LinkedIn, but thankfully I had also published those same articles on my website. So don't just publish articles on LinkedIn. You want to be publishing articles across diverse platforms, especially all your IP that you've created. So, your LinkedIn summary, about sections, make sure that you've got copies of all of this. Make sure that any recommendation you have, you've got copied and pasted it, because luckily I did that. I copy and pasted all my recommendations, so I didn't actually lose them altogether. Back up your digital assets, especially take copies, like I said, of testimonials, posts, case studies, blog content. Request your testimonials across multiple platforms. So, luckily, I had also done that. So, I also have a business Facebook page where a lot of my social proof was there. Plus, I also have my Google My Places. And, the asset of a business is building our database and owning and taking control of our digital footprint and digital real estate, our website and domain names. So this is what I feel really strongly about, is making sure that people understand that personal branding is not your social media. It is more than that. It's an ecosystem. So today I'm going to teach you what a personal brand is, why it's important for your business, career, and organizational success, how to build your personal brand foundations piece by piece in 7 steps, and which website platforms and software are important if you are a newbie, because often I do work with startups as well as established business owners. So, are any of these your goals? Do you realize that you need to position yourself as an expert? And that's one of your goals. Do you want to connect and be noticed by potential clients and referral partners? Do you want to build an audience? Do you want to earn more money? Do you want to get promoted? Do you want to acquire new customers? Do you want to pivot your career and leverage your previous experience and success? So these are all things that personal branding will help you with. But is this you? So often I work with clients, and this is what I hear all the time. I'm not clear what my personal brand is. I don't know what to say. Would anyone be interested in what I have to say? I'm afraid to share my true story. I don't know how to sell myself. I'm bad at marketing. I'm anxious when I pitch my services. I'm inconsistent and I'm not clear about my niche and who my clients are. So these are the problems that I solve when we work together to build your personal brand foundations. So if this is you, what happens if you fall into any of those categories is that we get stopped and we might be inconsistent online because we get stopped, or we get some imposter syndrome that trips us up, or we realize, oh my God, there's a competitor and they're so much better than me. I better quit. So whatever your story is, whatever you're telling yourself, whatever that narrative is that's going on in your mind, we will work through that in the work we do together. So, who am I? So, I'm a successful business owner. I've been in business for over 2 decades. I started as a husband and wife team back in 1997, running a web design, hosting, and domain name company. So, I'm an entrepreneur. So, I did that with my ex husband. And when we separated in 2008, I continued on as a consultant. I continued on as a contractor, and I started setting up many, many multiple brands. So I'm a strategist, entrepreneur, consultant. I'm a business coach, speaker, and poet. And my specialities are marketing, obviously, but I specialize in personal branding because I believe it's the most leveraged strategy there is, especially now. Business, marketing, and mindset. And my values are leverage, freedom, connection, transformation, harmony, integrity, fun, and collaboration. I also believe in affordability. I believe in life, creating lifelong relationships. So, my mission is to continue to be recognized as a sought after personal brand strategist and coach that sees things in clients and their business they could not see, producing transformational shifts in personal identity, reinvention, empowerment, business strategy, and business results. Now, this was actually a testimonial. These words were given to me as a testimonial, which is really interesting. My vision is every visionary entrepreneur equipped to achieve your positive impact, fulfilled, and financially thriving. So, my book, I'm a self published poet. I have a talk that I deliver called Poetic Release from Negative Thinking, the same name as my book. And I just recently delivered that in Bali and shared some of my poetry, which was really fantastic and was very well received. I'm the founder of She Simply Impacts, which is a transformational, holistic online group coaching club and community for women. And we have a collaboration of coaches that deliver group coaching under the Healing Emerging, which is all about career development and thriving categories. And we're really looking for caring, impact driven women that want to make a big difference there. So I'm the founder of visionaccountable.com.au. I've done lots and lots of speaking, and I also deliver lots of masterclasses. I've got one on niching as well, and I have one for the various niches that I've worked a lot with, such as real estate agent, corporate leaders that are new to consulting and self employment, and many others. So, as I said before, luckily, thankfully, I've got many, many testimonials on my Facebook business page. And now I've rebuilt my LinkedIn profile and I've got lots more on there as well. So, let's move on to the content. What is personal branding? So, personal branding is the practice of marketing people and their careers as brands. It is an ongoing process of developing and maintaining a reputation and impression of an individual, group, or organization. So it was coined, this term, personal branding, back in 1997 by a guy called Tom Peters, who had a magazine story that was called The Brand Called You. And how, little did we know what was going to happen from 1997 with social media and technology and now AI. So personal branding essentially is taking ownership and control of personal potential to achieve a greater impact in your career, business, products, or services. It's about directing your own career path and being self-reliant. So personal branding is obviously external because we build it for people to see and experience. It's strategic and it's perception based as well. So, but it all starts with you. So, how are you showing up? Are you happy with your current situation? Or are you working towards goals, aspirations? Are there opportunities that you want to attract for your business and yourself? And so, if you're like most business owners, you're working towards something, you're building an ideal life, you're building a lifestyle business, you're building a business that you can scale or a business that you can sell. So, with personal branding, you're actually tailoring your personal brand to help you achieve these goals. So, that's why it starts with you. It starts with being clear. What are your goals? But we're still on what is personal branding. So, this quote by Susan Critton from Personal Branding for Dummies is really, really powerful and really sums it up. So, personal branding is your reputation. So, that's the perception based, it's external, it's defined by your character. So your personal brand is also your legacy. It's the way others remember you through your actions, your expertise, and the emotional connections that you make. Your personal brand shows your authenticity from the inside out. Now, that's the kicker, your authenticity from the inside out. So we're not after fake things, we're after something really authentic. So, what do you need to know about yourself is what reputation do you want to build? And that comes back down to your values. So, what are your values? So, obviously, if your values are integrity, if your values are collaboration, if your values are fun, you want people to know about that. So, that's part of what you need to position. So, what is personal branding? It's closing the gap between how you're currently showing up publicly in relation to the opportunities you want to attract in order to fulfill your personal and business goals and aspirations. So, you're building it for something, and it's a dynamic thing, personal branding, because it's not a set and forget. Because as you evolve, as your goals and aspirations evolve, your personal brand needs to evolve with them. So, in branding, a lot of the time when we use the word branding, people think about the logo, the colors, the images. They think about the visual part of branding, which obviously is one big part of it. But branding is also other things. It's verbal. So, it's your written content, it's what you say, it's the videos you produce, it's how you say it, what you promise, how you deliver on that promise. It's your unique selling point, and it's the way you pitch. And there's the value side of the personal brand, which is how the public perceives your worth. So, where does your personal brand live, by the way? Think about that question for a moment. It lives in the heart and mind of other people. It doesn't live in your mind, it lives out there. And so, you want to be able to position your value so that your where you fit in the marketplace relative to your competitors is very clear, and you do the work for your clients and prospects. So personal branding, it's applicable across all goals, including your career and employment. Running your own business, you are your brand. It's aligning your personal career and business brand for maximum impact. They can all create opportunities for each other. Your personal brand stays with you and leverages your next opportunity. So you're always building on your career, even if you're pivoting into something completely different. Like I used to work at the Australian Institute of Professional Counsellors, and I used to coach the graduates of the Diploma of Counselling in their new role as counsellors. And so they were pivoting from careers such as being a doctor, from engineering, from the travel industry, from many different industries. But basically, we don't have to delete all that went before, because that gives credibility, and that might be applicable when you're looking for a niche, or you're attracting the people with the same values alignment as you. So we're building, not deleting and starting again, and we're not siloing. So brand you, or the brand you, The essence of it is made up of your values, your vision, your mission, your passion, your core beliefs, and your legacy. So here's the personal brand framework in 7 steps. So, like I said before, it starts with your goals, your short, mid, and long-term goals. And the first three are the personal side. Your vision, your purpose, your legacies, your values, and passion. These are all different. You could get two mortgage brokers or two real estate agents, or you could get two wellness coaches, and you might have the same qualifications. You might be really good at what you do, but these things, your vision, your purpose, your legacy, your values, and your passion, they're not going to be the same. And so that's how you stand out. You've got to stand out through these things. Then there's your strengths and uniqueness. And that's the other thing. You've got two identical professionals, two accountants. Everyone assumes, yes, they've got integrity. Yes, they're good at what they do. Yes, they've worked with many, many clients, but they're going to have certain strengths and uniqueness. They're not going to be the same because of, no human is identical to another human. So then we come into the identity, the internal, the sense of self. So your expertise, your skills, your transferable skills, your zone of genius. So these are also unique things, and you've got to be able to articulate those. And then what do you want to be known for? So we've got to take control of this. Obviously, we want to be known as credible. And what backs that credibility up is our testimonials, our qualifications, our experience, and our case studies. And these are not going to be the same from professional to professional. And it's all got to be fully aligned and authentic. We don't want to be faking any of this. And then, who is your audience? How do you solve their problems? And where do you sit relative to your competition? So, for example, there's many buyer's agents these days, and I work with quite a lot of property people. So I have a new buyer's agent that's just starting to build her personal brand with me. She's a young woman. She's passionate about property, but she looks young. And so when we go to really do a deep dive into who is your audience, the objection that many people probably will have is, what does a young girl know about property? So we're going to address that objection straight off the bat. And so who her audience is, we will be strategic about that so that she can leverage the fact that she's a young, passionate, professional buyer's agent, and she's going after the right target audience that are going to align with her because of that. Then, once we've worked all that out, then we get to the tangible brand elements, which is the website, the social media, the logo, the colors, the fonts, the templates, the photography, and the domain name. And so that's the framework. So, step one is defining your goals. So, obviously, goals are about achieving an outcome through action, going from A, where you are now, to B, where you see yourself by a certain date that you set in the future. We need help achieving goals because, as humans, business owners are not exempt, our tendency is to stay in our comfort zone. The mind can perceive change as threatening and risky, often requires skills which we don't yet have. So that's additional on top of what we've already got going on in our life, and that requires a lot of effort, and life gets in the way. And the other thing about achieving goals is that sometimes we have to shift our identity. And that's what the personal branding journey is also all about. It's about shifting our identity so that we can become the person that we want to be. Because unless we become that person, we can do all the doing. But if our identity is stuck in the past version of ourselves, then it's going to be difficult to actually achieve our goals. And so that's why it's great to work with a coach. So how do we close the gap between where we are now? So there's two main goal setting frameworks, which are very famous, the SMART and the GROW model. I'm not sure if you've heard of the GROW. The SMART is especially very famous. So the SMART is an acronym for specific, be specific about the goal. We need to be able to measure it. So say, for example, I want to make $10,000 in the next month. So that's measurable, it's specific, attainable. Is that realistic? Well, if I have a look at my products and packages that I sell, well, that is realistic. And in the next month, that's the time bound bit. So if you haven't worked on your goals lately, I have a workbook, Map Out Your Yearly Goals workbook, which you're very welcome to download. And that will really help you set out your goals. Now, the GROW model is a great framework also, and one I really love. So with the GROW model, it starts with G, which is goal. What is your goal? So you need to write this down. What's your goal? And this model deals with one main goal at a time. Then the R stands for what is the reality of your current situation? And this question reveals the obstacles and bottlenecks. Then what are your options? That's the O for options. So create as many options as you can. So options put us in the driver's seat of our lives. They empower us with choice. And W is will. What will you commit to? So this question articulates the action steps. Always create a by when date and an estimation of how long you think this step will take. Schedule these tasks into your calendar, and the date, time frame, and scheduling keeps the momentum going. Now, if you're one of these people that schedules things in your calendar, but that doesn't really mean anything, because when you get to that date and time, often you don't do it, then that's when you're going to need some accountability, which is obviously the other side of what coaching gives you. So when it comes to goals and building your personal brand, really how I look at goals is what is my short-term goal, my immediate priority? What's my midterm goal? So where do I want to be in 12 months' time, 18 months? And then what's my long-term goal, 2 years, 3 years? And so ideally, it's great to keep the short, mid, and long-term goals as stepping stones, but that's not always possible. So, but the thing with the goals is that the personal career and business goals shape our personal brand strategy. So, personal branding is all about a strategy and it's all about an audience that we're building the personal brand for. And so, we want to be clear what that is. So, then we want to start with the end in mind. So, what is this long term goal? Then, what's the midterm stepping stone? What's my immediate priority? And then stepping stones are the way we get to our long-term goals generally. So break it down like that so you don't get overwhelmed because it can be very overwhelming. And then the action steps. And once we've created these action steps and scheduled in how long we think this activity is going to take, and this is roughly when I can commit to it, this is how we simplify complexity. So review and write your goals out daily or at least once a week. So these are some great books on goal achievement. So Coaching for Performance by Sir John Whitmore. So he was the founder of the GROW model. And the 4 maps of happy, successful people. That's about visually drawing out our goals. Hi, Kerry. It's great to see you. So step number 2 is vision, purpose, legacy, values, and passion. So we want to be clear about this because these things are what make us unique. These things are what inform our personal brand sort of strategy, and then it informs our content. So what we talk about, because that's obviously the end goal, is putting all this into a strategy that we can implement an action on a weekly basis. So the self-discovery framework, who am I? So what has shaped your decisions? Why do you do what you do? And so this is a really important question, and the answer needs to be able really clear and off the top of your tongue. So I do what I do because I understand the pain of being invisible. So my story is linked. When I started in business, I started with my ex-husband. He was this really super confident guy. He was 6 foot. His name was Barnaby, or it is Barnaby. He had this red hair. He was memorable and he was super confident. He was amazing at networking and he was really talented and really clever and had a photographic memory and could pick up stuff really quick and was an early adopter. So it's like, well, I just, thought, well, you're fantastic. I'll just hide behind you. So I didn't really build my career. I helped him build his. So we were building a business together and I was the behind the scenes person. So when he left me, I didn't know how to support myself and I had to go out on my own. And that pain of being invisible and that pain of just having to rebuild myself and who am I and what do I want to do and what am I passionate about, I realized, hey, I'm still passionate about business. I was passionate about business all along. So I just kept going. So, this self discovery piece, these stories, these are the stories that set us apart. So, it's our goals, aspirations, what impact do we want to make? What is your vision for your business and life? So, I love personal branding because it's very confidence orientated. It's about building your confidence, it's about becoming who you want to be in the next iteration of your career. It's about being in the driver's seat, it's about discovering the things that you didn't know about yourself, connecting the dots and the stories. And that's what I love helping my clients with. So when we think about this self-discovery and who am I is made up of so many different things. It's made up of our physical health, our spirituality, our childhood experiences, our wounds, our beliefs. It's made up of our capacity to our resilience and our mental fitness. And it's made up of, what our saboteurs are. Like, are we an avoider or a controller? Or, what are the negative things that, that those autopilot negative qualities that derail us? So we want to understand and get under the bonnet of ourselves. And we want to then be able to turn all this around so that we're actually working towards who we want to be and we're not going to get stopped. Then it's about our vocation, what contribution we want to make, our purpose, our legacy, our learning journey, our personal development, our mindset, our personality attributes. So there's a lot of things that go into who we are. And like I said before, no two people are the same. So these are the things that are going to set us apart, and obviously our mental health. So coaching is very much about questions and answers. The coach's role is to ask you the questions so that you can become clear and you can find your own answers. So here's some questions if you're not certain about your vision, for example. So a great question. What idealistic emotional future do you want to bring into the world through your career as an author, for example? I work with a lot of authors. What emotional states do you intend for the people you impact? Because our vision is the thing. Once we've done our work, the vision is what we create. So my vision is every visionary entrepreneur equipped to achieve your positive impact, fulfilled and financially thriving. So why is my vision linked to visionary entrepreneurs? Well, firstly, because I am a visionary. But secondly, because that's the ripple effect, because the visionaries are the people that really are out there changing the world. And so if I can help the visionaries, then the ripple effect is magnified, or my impact is magnified through the visionaries that I work with. So you need to be able to answer this for yourself. So who do you work with? Who's your target audience? Why are you passionate about serving them? And so these are the stories that you can tell that really highlight the thing that makes you unique about the work that you do. So when it comes to purpose, here's some questions. What challenge would I love to overcome and then help others achieve the same? What is the biggest dream I've ever had for my life? What special gift do I have that I could give to the world? And what is my why? So we want to be able to answer all these questions about ourselves and then work out, okay, well, how can I be strategic? How can I fit the answers to this, or my authentic sort of drivers, into my personal brand, into my marketing to help me stand out? So then your legacy, desire to feel as though I've made a contribution to the world with tangible gifts and sentiments that people will remember me by. So what do I wish to create that is sustainable after I'm gone? So I've set up my project, She Simply Impacts. It's a legacy project. I want to be able to, with 1 million women, donate $24 million annually to charities that support underprivileged women and children. So as a visionary, I created something quite, I guess outlandish, one would say, but why not? And if it could work, and if I can get the team around me that can help me, then that could be sustainable well after I'm gone. So, what do I want said about me in my eulogy? What motivates me as a mission? I mean, for me, in my eulogy, it's like I gave it a crack. I was true to myself. I lived according to my values, I lived according to my dreams and aspirations. So that's what is really important to me, is walking my talk as a coach. So values, what are my top 5 to 7 values? So you want to know what these are, and not everyone does. Like I worked with a team of golf coaches, and one of the coaches, when I asked him, what is your values? He wasn't sure. So not everyone's clarified this. And our values change, our priorities change as we evolve. So that's why a personal brand is a living entity. It's not a set and forget, do it once and never have to touch it again. It's something that we're always tweaking and refining. And then passion. What gets me fired up? Why do I care about this? And what am I going to do about this? So, why do I care? So, well, I care about people that are interested in changing the world for the better, making a difference to people and animals. I care about this and I'm passionate about this. And, what gets me fired up is when people don't have the confidence or don't have the support or the resources to give it a crack, to live their dreams. You've got to fight for your life, fight for your dreams. And that gets me fired up. What am I going to do about it? Well, I became a coach because I'm really passionate about this. And if I help people achieve their dreams and their goals and their aspirations, then I get so much help and support as well. So I'm not going to read these out, but here's some examples of values. So there's, a big long list, and you can look on Google, and there's even online programs that you can do that help you work out and clarify what your values are, but you want to know what they are. So step number 3 is strengths, uniqueness, and lived experience. So strengths, we all have different strengths. So for me, I'm a communicator. I'm a community builder. So I'm the one that, pitches things and then people come and join me. Like I pitched to my friends who wants to go to Bali for our birthdays. And then I pitched to my friend Begita, and her birthday was like 5 days after mine. She said, yep, I'm in. And then we pitched it to other people and they said yes. And then one of our team from She Simply Impacts, Mary Wong, she said, well, let's do an event while we're in Bali. And so then she collaborated with Charla Brown from One Woman, and then there was suddenly an event that we were all speaking at, and it was called the Fearless Women Summit. And then other team members came, and then their clients came, and so it just created this whole ripple effect. So that's one of my strengths, is bringing people together and building relationships. So that's my big number one strength, is relationships and communication. And I'm a visionary. So what are you? Who are you? Do you know what your strengths are? Do you know how to quickly articulate what they are? And then what makes you unique? And there's a bunch of things that make people unique. It's our personality, our attitude, our perspective, our beliefs, our goals, our habits, our genetics. Like I'm not very big. I'm from an Italian background. I'm quite small. We're from Puglia, from the south of Italy. And so, when my ex-husband was 6 foot with red hair, it's like his genetic, he was half Danish. And so, it's like, well, it became easy to hide behind him. But then when I had to put myself forward, then I've got to bring in my own strengths and the things that make me unique. So I'm a small lady with a big heart, So it's our physical characteristics, our intellect, experience, training, transferable skills. Then there's this thing, lived experience. So who's heard of that term, lived experience? So lived experience can be anything like mental health challenges, trauma, sexual abuse, domestic violence, family situation is your lived experience. So you might be a mum with a new baby, or you might be, a dad who lived on a yacht. My daughter's husband grew up on a yacht. In his dad used to sell yachts, I think, or run them around, buy yachts and deliver them to people that had bought them. And so he grew up there, which is part of his lived experience in nature. So it doesn't have to be a bad thing. So someone asked me once, what if you don't have a lived experience of any of these things that are quite bad? It doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's just about what goal do you have? What do you want to create through your personal brand? And then what stories about yourself, your personality, and your life do you need to showcase that's going to build that emotional connection? So that's why this is strategic. It's not about the bad stories, but in She Simply Impacts, my background of domestic violence and mental illness, that's relevant. So that's relevant in She Simply Impacts, and I tell that story in that brand, but I don't go telling it in every brand because it's not always relevant. So the thing with personal branding and what I used to find, especially at the beginning, and there's certain personalities that hate being in the limelight. They just want to be behind the scenes. But we can't afford to be behind the scenes anymore because every market is saturated. And with AI, more and more jobs are getting replaced. So we've got to be the face of our brand now. We can't just get away with having a faceless brand or no one knowing about us because, with social media, the people that are good on social media and digital footprint, they're the ones that'll get the opportunities. But you might be better. You might have better skills. You might have better integrity. You might do a better job, but no one knows about you. But the thing is that if you have trepidation, and a lot of my clients do, there's a lot of trepidation around being in the limelight for whatever reason. It's optional how much you share and what you share. So you don't have to share about this, but you could share about it if it's strategic. So we really then have to think about our niche. Who is our niche? And what is going to resonate with our niche? And that's the strategy. That's why you've got to think about it. But the great thing about this, this lived experience thing is that now everyone, we don't have all these taboo topics like sexual abuse and depression and mental, health and, you know, just so many things that people are afraid of, neurodiversity or having ADHD or whatever it is, it's about being the real person, and we don't have to hide anymore and cut aspects of ourselves off or mask ourselves anymore. And that's what I think personal branding has liberated people so that we can take control of our narrative and we don't have to be an apology. So that's the great side. So step number 4, key expertise, our key expertise, our skills. So obviously in the marketplace, we're selling skills of some sort. Transferable skills, what I was saying before about an engineer that's transitioning into counseling, she thinks, well, what's my engineering skills got to do with counseling? But, it could have relevance if she's targeting professionals. If she's, there might be many engineers that will resonate with the counselor because they know the counselor understands their profession and understands them as a person. So it's about breaking down the barriers so that our audience we understand the problems that they're grappling with because everything is about solving a problem. So people are in the marketplace, they're going to buy something because they're looking for a solution to their problem. And that problem has to be, really bad for people to spend money. So they want to make sure that they are understood. So we want to be living, articulating, and selling our zone of genius. So the definition of a zone of genius is your unique power, a one-of-a-kind quality that you bring to your life and work, enables you to do certain things better than almost anyone else. So I know for me, my 2 things are relationship building and communication. They're my main things. Doing this is easy for me. This is my preference to, connect with people through my, subject matter expertise. And the relationship building, that's really my skill set. I'm very, very good at building genuine, authentic relationships because I'm a genuine, authentic person. So Oprah has this great quote, forget about the fast lane. If you really want to fly, harness your power to your passion, honor your calling. Everyone has one and trust your heart and success will come to you. So this book, The Big Leap, is a great book. It's about breaking through the ceiling into the next level. And often that's what we've got to do in the work of the personal brand. We have to become this person that we're selling. We have to become and evolve into the next iteration of our vision for our ideal life. So, credibility and becoming known. So, these things give you a hell of a lot of credibility. Your testimonials, your qualifications, of course, your experience, and your case studies. So, have you documented your latest case studies if you are already working with lots of clients? You know, what is your experience? So, back what I was talking about before, your transferable skills, transferable industries that you've worked in. All of this, is what sets us apart. And of course, testimonials and case studies are the thing we can use to sell our products and services. So, who here stalks the profiles of your shortlisted suppliers to help you feel confident to sign on the dotted line? I certainly do. So, I was, looking for accommodation for us in Bali, and I plow through all the reviews, not just the one or two on the top. I dig, I dig down, and I know that clients do that too, because prospects, because recently someone gave me a testimonial and a recommended someone they were speaking to me. So he went to my website, he read everything, he booked into my calendar, and he'd already, read all about my testimonials and read everything. And then he booked in. So people do go to our digital footprint first. That's why we want to have our testimonials all over our LinkedIn profile, all over, Google My Places, Google reviews. So I know that I've even looked up doctors. When selecting a doctor, I've gone and looked at testimonials. I'm definitely selecting coaches, therapists, real estate agents, anyone. And people are doing that for us. They're not just going to come and give us thousands of dollars if we're consultants. They want to know who have we worked with, who have we helped. They want that social proof. So every market is saturated now, and it's getting worse because of job losses and all sorts of things. So people buy from people known to them that they know, like, and trust, and that's the truth. So with testimonials, I have quite a few, and I've got a document. So what I do is I put mine into this PowerPoint. Every time I get a new testimonial, I copy and paste it from LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever I email or whatever, and I put it into this PowerPoint document. I've even got it in my email signature. I've got hear what others have to say working with me. But I ask my clients for testimonials. It doesn't just magically happen. Most of those testimonials, I've asked them for it at least once or twice. I don't ask more than twice. So some key clients I've worked with haven't given me one, but I've asked for them, and I've been strategic, and I've asked people, can you do mind copy and pasting that same testimonial on LinkedIn onto my Facebook business page, onto my Google reviews, and I give them the links and I send them the email. So this is what you want to do. And this is why you need your own personal brand website so that you can set up Google reviews, Google My Places. And this is what we're doing. It's the social proof that sells. And so once you've got lots and lots of social proof, and not only that, it sells your services to yourself. Because if you're the type of person that forgets how good you are, that you're just a very humble person and you don't think about it, or you've been raised where you're not allowed to talk about yourself, then you can go back and you can read these testimonials for yourself. So, step number 6. So, this is really, really important. A deep dive into which audience are you serving, and how do you solve their problems? So, right at the beginning of the masterclass, I listed all the problems that I help people solve. Problems like, I'm not clear what my personal brand is. I don't know what to say. Would anyone be interested in what I have to say? I'm anxious when I go to pitch my services, et cetera, et cetera. So these are the problems that I help people solve, the pain of being invisible. Because if you are invisible, that impacts your confidence. So you really want to make sure that your digital footprint has been worked on with what you want it to say and how you want to be represented. And then who are your competitors in the space and where do you sit? So one of my values is affordability. I am really passionate about making personal branding affordable for people, for all of us. And obviously, social platforms are a level playing field because it doesn't cost money to be on LinkedIn and things like that. But it's not just LinkedIn, it's all these personal brand foundations that we need to build and clarify and be able to articulate and pitch. So, this is a case study. So, I worked with this business, the Croker Golf System. Their vision is a world of golf where golf is simple to learn, easy, less stress on the body, and less stressful on the mind. So, this company wanted to scale their golf coach training globally, and they've already started doing that. But their branding didn't represent this, and they'd never clarified their personal brand foundations, such as their vision and mission. So their mission is threefold: provide the golfing world with a proven, step-by-step, body-friendly golf learning and training system to take a student of golf from the beginning of their journey to potential to a professional. So that's one part of the mission. Then the other part, for the Croker Golf System to be recognised as an authority for training golf coaches internationally in the Croker Golf System standard of golf instruction, empowering coaches by driving students to their business of running individual lessons, group clinics, specialised workshops, and golf schools. And then the last part is train and coach PGA golf coaches to become credible and chosen authority, credible and chosen authority in golf instruction, both online and in their local area, providing the marketing engine to grow their sustainable and profitable business through the Croker Golf System, producing results for all students from beginner level to tour professional standard. Now, this is a big mission because it's multi-layered, but the clarity that they got from articulating and documenting this was unbelievable. So the founder already had a strong brand, Peter Croker, but once we worked on the brand with the team, this is what the image that we changed it to. So we had to coordinate all the team with all of the components of the personal brand build, including their values. So Teresia Thompson is an author. So she has never set up a business, but now she's becoming an author, and she's not just going to write one book, she's going to write more than one. So she's building her personal brand, developing the visual, verbal, and the value that she brings to the table. So it's very exciting to see someone actually build a business for the first time. So Sam McFarland is a real estate agent that I work with, and this was his LinkedIn profile previously. And then once we'd done the work, which was based on the goals at the time, where he wanted to build a team of agents under Link Properties, he got all of his professional photography redone. He worked out his, like what he's offering. He was offering a 90-10 commission split, freedom and autonomy to run your own business working remotely, because a lot of real estate agents are stuck actually having to go into an office without technology and the support, low overheads, and customized and cutting edge support systems. So Sam's excellent at technology and systems. So his target niche was real estate agents. The problems faced by his audience were what I just read before, as well as the low commission structures with the employment agreements, terrible dog eat dog cultures, lack of choice and autonomy to become self-employed, lack of affordable technology platforms to run their business. And so he'd never had a pop-up banner, so we got that all designed. And how does Sam solve their problems? So his elevator pitch is: agents who join Link Properties as an independent real estate agent achieve substantially high commissions and the freedom and autonomy to run their own business while still being part of a dynamic and like-minded team with an incredible technology platform and support systems. So I also have helped Anna and John. So they're serial entrepreneurs. So they built their individual brands, and we had to really delve to articulate what they were aiming to achieve. So what was their vision and mission? So we did a lot of work in there. Anna was building her personal brand for the purposes of going out as a consultant, a business consultant, because she's also a CFO. And so, so basically we went through and we had to clarify, articulate, and document all the elements that make up the personal brand collateral and then learn how to pitch that and then talk about that and create videos and things like that. So niching, why is niching important? So niching fast tracks your effort to become an expert because it's easier to connect with your target audience when you can name and identify them. They will be able to find and identify themselves in your message when it is targeted to solving their problems. It's easier for marketing and planning. And the thing is, you can't be everything to everyone. It's simply not possible because we always have to be doing professional development and learning, and you can't learn everything. So there's two types of niches, vertical, which are a specific kind of client or industry, different products or services for one group, for example, dentists, or maybe I saw a business this week that does business coaching training for electricians. So that's very, very niche. Now, the horizontal focus is singular product or service you offer across a myriad of vertical industries. For example, personal branding is applicable to real estate agents, to solopreneurs, to people in the healing industries. It's applicable to authors. It's applicable to, buyers agents and property people. So it's actually a horizontal focus. But when I do marketing, I make my marketing very targeted to the niche as well. So I build masterclasses that are just for corporate leaders new to consulting and self-employment, or masterclasses just for real estate agents. So that's sort of being having the horizontal focus, but then targeting it to a vertical. So with Message to Market Match, so I have a whole program called Message to Market Match. So you want to understand the market you're in. Is it health, wealth, or relationships? So I'm in the market of wealth because obviously business is all about making money. Now, so I need to document the person group that I want to serve, and so do you, the problems they're experiencing, our solution, our outcomes. And I also want to conduct market research to understand the language that my audience resonates with. And in the personal branding journey, we do a massive deep dive into this. We are very, very thorough. And then we translate these problems into marketing and our solutions. So, how do I set myself apart through my personal brand? So, the 7 steps together is what sets me apart. So, no two people are identical in all of these areas. So, we've got to tell our stories, tell our client stories, and we've got to be strategic about what we share based on the niche that we're targeting and what's going to resonate with them to build that emotional connection and to build the trust. Because at the end of the day, if they don't trust us, they're not going to give us money. So we've got to be very strategic about our journey and our experiences, our personality, our background, what impacted us, what tipped us over the edge to take our life in this direction, what passion we have for helping our clients and why, what our style is, and our results. What are our results? And if you don't have results, if you're just starting out and you're new, then you just want to work with people, even if you do it at a reduced rate, even if you do it for free, because what you need to get is these case studies and testimonials, because that is going to build not only your skills, your confidence, but it's going to help you market to get clients because they'll know, yes, I know what I'm talking about. I've worked with people. And if you're someone who doesn't have qualifications, don't let that stop you because it's about you and your clients. It's about what results and what transformation can you facilitate for your clients. So don't worry about that. Don't let that stop you. Now, your brand story is how you put all of this together, and it's not a science, it's an art. And as I said before, it's the emotional connection that you're making through your brand and your brand story. You want to talk about the problems you solve and present yourself as the solution and talk about how you differ from your competitors. So a lot of my competitors, they're graphic designers that have moved into identity branding and creating that identity. Whereas I'm not a graphic designer, I'm a coach. And so that's what sets me apart in branding, because I come at it from a coaching lens. I come at it from getting from A to B faster and smarter, and helping you transition and transform your identity so that you can become that person. Because once you become that person that you're selling, you will become unstoppable, because your confidence will be at 100% or 2000%. Whereas wherever you're at now, if you're someone who's not clear about your personal brand, that impacts your confidence. That's going to impact your action taking. If you're not sure if people are really interested in what you have to say, then that's going to cause a barrier to you actually sharing your story, because you don't feel confident about your story. If you hate marketing, well, that's something that we've got to unpack and try and really piece back together so that you can find the marketing that resonates with you. So for me, it's these master classes. I love, training. So I love running these. I love putting content together. I love researching and learning. And so this is such a win-win for me. And plus it's building relationships, and plus it's all on video. So you've got to find the thing that resonates with you, because there's 101 marketing tactics that we can be doing, but they're not all going to resonate. And it's overwhelming. We can't do everything. So then once we've done all that, we get to these personal brand elements. And now we get to the content. So once we've clarified, articulated, and documented all those things that I've spoken about in the 7 steps, then that informs our content strategy. We know what to talk about. We know what our blog content is going to be around. We know what brand personality we're going for. We know what our values are. We know which of those values are the strongest. And so then we do, the professional photography. We know what colors. We've worked out our brand colors and fonts, our domain names, our website, our templates, the testimonials, the social media profiles, and the photography. And then the video, of course, is absolutely the fastest way to build relationships and become known. So with domain names and digital assets, so I started my career in business selling these things. So I learned right at the very beginning of my career all about domain names and the importance of them. And, there's a lot of people that, don't know where their domain is hosted or where they bought it from, or they don't know that they need to buy the domain and then have the website hosted and point the domain, link the website and the hosting together. But essentially, is your domain name available for registration? Because if it is, I would buy it. So, for example, I have visionaccountable.com.au for my business, but my domain name, angeladepalma.com, I bought that many, many, many years ago. And I point that to visionaccountable.com.au until I build my personal brand website. So I recommend that you have a personal brand website and a business website. But obviously it's a big work in progress, because you have to clarify, articulate, and document things for both your personal brand. So for example, with me as a personal brand, I'm a poet. I've got She Simply Impacts and Vision Accountable. So my personal brand will sit above those 3 things. So Angela De Palma is not just does one thing. I do a few things. They're all linked, but basically that's for someone like that you've got a few things going on, then the personal brand website sits above all of your other stuff. So you want to secure all your social media profiles if you haven't already. And the thing is, we can't be everything to everyone. So, really, I just mainly use Facebook and LinkedIn at the moment, because and YouTube. So they're my main 3 platforms. I don't do Instagram. My daughter, who's 29, she's always telling me, Mum, Instagram is where it's at. And I know it is. And I've got my handles. I just don't build those profiles at the moment. So brand colors and fonts. So you want to research this when you're putting your colors together, if you haven't already. Because all the colors mean something. And so it's great to learn about this. Then fonts, there's a psychology of fonts as well, which is really interesting when you're picking your fonts, because with branding and the visual branding, you always want the images, the colors, the fonts always to be the same, the color palette codes. And once you've worked those out, you give that to the graphic designer. Obviously, Canva is an amazing tool to help you put colors together if you're working all that out, but we do all this in my program. So in my personal brand Done With You program. If you're starting from scratch and you haven't done any of this, then we work on all of this. You can get your logos done in an expensive way with very good, graphic designers, or you can go to freelancer.com. So there's many, many options, Canva. So it just depends on what your budget is. But the main thing is that you don't want to get stopped. The main thing is that you move forward, even if it's not perfect, because perfectionism is an enemy of progress and actually goal achievement. So then your template design, it's great to get all that designed. And these things are really necessities and not luxuries. Your professional photography. So I've had mine done by Brisbane Headshots. And also recently I've used another company called Lunacity. So I went to a studio and Lunacity came to my house. So I've got a mix of photography. But the thing with photography is that you want to make sure that you resonate, with their style of images. You don't just want to pick a photographer because it's a friend of a friend. And also AI can also do really amazing headshots. So there's packages that you can buy, software you can buy that does actually do great headshots. So I guess, there's no one size fits all. And that's the thing with me. I'm not a one size fits all person. What's your budget? Let's work with that to get you moving and to get the momentum going. Because in my world, momentum and accountability, that's the thing that builds your confidence once you get results. Results feed on results. So you've just got to keep taking action and not get stuck if your budget isn't so huge. So with websites, obviously WordPress is superior, because if you want to be found organically through search engine optimization, then WordPress is the best. And then you need to sort of do the keyword research. You need to link that with content and blog articles. And the thing with your website is that you control and own it. Like what I was saying before about the platforms, you don't own the platforms. You don't own Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. So they take your profile down, your profile gets hacked, then it's gone. Whereas your website, you want to make sure that you take the step to build this. And Squarespace is, it's a good for getting started. Like I've got my Vision Accountable on Squarespace at the moment, but I'm going to transition over to WordPress. So it depends what stage you're at in the journey. But I guess the thing is you want to get started, not get hung up. But if you want to build it properly and you have that long-term vision, it's a long game and you're building the search engine organically, the SEO, then the WordPress is the best. So then there's obviously the marketing automation, like there's the tools like Calendly, which are amazing, and email marketing software. And there's so many hundreds of software on the market. So it's, can be a minefield. So you want to kind of make sure that you tap into people's knowledge. So for me, I use MailChimp, I use GetResponse, I use Calendly, but there's also Go High Level, which is very, very popular now, like these all-in-one CRM landing page, email marketing platforms. But the thing is that you're tracking, you're testing, measuring, and refining, because that's marketing. Landing pages are good, then your email marketing automation. Like for example, my Map Out Your Yearly Goals workbook. If you sign up to that to get that, then there's this email sequence that I've set up that you'll receive, over a year. But what I'm really doing and what we're doing in all of this is building relationships with our audience. We want to get them off social media, collect emails, and integrate all of our software so it's working together. So as a recap, the benefits for your business success with personal branding is that it builds your confidence. That's one of the biggest benefits. Writing out who you are. So doing the personal brand foundation build, it's very thorough. You know who you are, how to articulate that. It's all documented. It really makes you feel so good about getting out there. So this is a quote from Mike Kim that I love. Writing out who you are and what you want is essential to becoming the person you're trying to sell to others. The credibility isn't in the teaching. The credibility is in the living. So that's a very powerful quote, and that's what we're doing through this. So The benefits for your business success of personal branding are that it forces you to become the person you're claiming to be if you're not already. And so you want to ask yourself, who do I have to become in order to serve the people that I want to serve? Do you have to become better at communicating? Put yourself on video. Do you need to let go of the fear of what other people think of you? Let go of the fear of criticism? Do you need to become more self-aware, a risk taker, a leader? Who do you need to become? And we delve into this. And for some people, the transition into becoming can be easy, or it may require more transformational, deep mindset work, which is also what sets me apart because we delve into this. So I can hold you from many different perspectives while you're becoming, while you're working this out, while you're, transitioning. So no one can duplicate you. You are brilliant and unique. That's the power of personal branding. Relationship building in business is conducted via online search initially. People make decisions about whether they want to talk to you and meet you through online research, reviews, and testimonials. And your digital footprint matters more than ever before. So bulletproof your personal brand and own your digital footprint. So your homework after all this is to audit yourself online, Google your name. Does your email address reflect the image you want to convey? Is it professional? Do you have a domain name? Do you need to change your domain name, or are you in the process of rebranding because it doesn't reflect who you are anymore? Is there content you want to make private or remove? Build the elements of your personal brand. Go crazy on gathering testimonials and writing up case studies. So if we are not connected on LinkedIn, this is my LinkedIn profile. So please connect with me. That's my website. And I've got a Facebook group, She Simply Impacts, and I have a personal Facebook page and business Facebook page as well, if you want to connect with me there. If you haven't done your goals, map out your yearly goals workbook, feel free to download that. And my free offer to you is a 30-minute free personal branding or business strategy consultation. So book into my calendar by using this QR code. So thank you so much for watching and connecting. And I look forward to having a chat. I look forward to your 30-minute free personal branding consult. Kerry, did you have any questions before I close off the recording?
No, I'm fine. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks for asking. Sorry to be so late.
That's all right, no problem. So take care and bye for now. I'll sign off on the recording and I will see you soon.